Local programming on KRWG made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to Fronteras, a Changing America. I'm Carlos Correa. In the spirit of giving, we're dedicating the show to a program that's giving back to the community. And joining me now is Nancy Barnes-Smith, Southern New Mexico representative for Roadrunner Food Bank of New Mexico, and Bert Crisp, service coordinator for St. Genevieve Village. Welcome both of you to the program.
Thank you.
Nancy, let's start with you and tell me a little bit about the program that you work for.
I'm with Roadrunner Food Bank of New Mexico, and I'm with the Las Cruces or Southern New Mexico branch. We basically are distributing food to 50 partner agencies in 4 counties, which includes Doña Ana, Luna, Hidalgo, and Grant. And then they distribute to what we call our partner agencies. So in Southern New Mexico, we have 50 partner agencies in those 4 counties I mentioned. And in New Mexico, we have 600 partner agencies, but that's with the Albuquerque food branch up there. So our goal is to get as much food out to hungry people in those 4 counties as possible. We've been in operation, the branch in Las Cruces, since January of this year, and in that time we have distributed nearly 3 million pounds of food.
And where does Bert fit into the mix with his organization?
Well, Bert represents one of our partner agencies. So instead of people coming to Roadrunner Food Bank to get boxes of food or bags of food, instead we distribute to a partner agency who then distributes to their people. And in this case, Bert represents one of our partner agencies, St. Genevieve's Village.
And tell me a little bit about your organization, Bert.
Well, I work for J.L. Gray, which is a management company, and we manage St. Genevieve's Village, which is a 42-unit housing complex for senior citizens 62 or older. It's a HUD organization complex. The residents are at or below the poverty level. So we have 42 apartments, approximately 44 residents, range in age from 62 to about 90 years old. They live by themselves, a few are married. They have caretakers and that such.
And tell me a little bit about, since the economy took a downturn, have you seen more people in need of services in terms of getting food?
Oh yes, I have 42 households, and 41 of those households are on the register that receive food from the Roadrunner Food Bank. We distribute once a month. We have an on-site pantry, which is kind of different here in the state of New Mexico. Most places you go to a pantry, they hand you a box with assorted food. We have sort of like a little shopping center. It's about 100 square foot room, shelves all the way around. The residents have their choice between about 50 to 60 items each month that they can receive free of charge through the TFAB program with the commodities here from the food bank with Las Cruces.
How is the food given out to the clients?
Well, first we order the food online. So I go on and I link to the Roadrunner Food Bank directly. I see what products they have, and then I'm allotted a number of each that I can order, a certain amount. So I order, and then I pick up from the food bank. We stock the pantry, and then once a month the residents come, and I have an activity committee of residents, and they work the pantry, the food pantry, and they distribute the food to the residents. It's not just canned goods. You think typically of commodities as the peanut butter and the cheese, but we order, just to give you an example, this last week we gave out fresh oranges, 5-pound bags of potatoes, baking mix, cooking oil, several other different items, fruits, vegetables, just a lot of different things.
And the people who receive this donation or this food, are they all your clients from where they live?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's strictly for the residents of St. Genevieve's Village. The neat thing about having a pantry on site is when we used to have the boxes, someone would come in and they would just move in, and I would have to say, well, the boxes come on the 20th. Well, now I have food the whole month. So if there's a need during the month, if a new resident moves in, if someone's sick, I can go and get juice, soup, and things out of the pantry to give to them. If we have a luncheon for the residents and we need something out of the pantry, we can get it because it's for the benefit of the residents.
And how long does this food last? Usually a month, or?
It's in conjunction with their food stamp allotment. So what the residents do is, to make their food stamps go farther, I keep the pantry open during the day. They come and look and see what items they're going to get during the month. And then that way they don't have to duplicate that at the grocery store. So they don't have to go and buy vegetable oil or flour or anything like that, because they know they're going to get it through the pantry. Most of the food, it does keep them for the entire month.
I see, okay. And Nancy, would you agree that the face of people needing food has changed?
Well, the face of hunger in the state of New Mexico and nationally has changed. We have a lot of stereotypes in mind about soup kitchens, and it's the down and out and the homeless standing in line. But what we know in New Mexico is that 40% of those who are receiving food assistance are children below the age of 18. More than 15% are folks like the ones Bert works with, seniors who are living on a fixed income. And 30% or more are families that are actually working. It's just that times are tough, things are expensive, and they're having to make decisions between paying the rent, paying for insurance, and buying groceries. So the stereotype that we have about who needs food is not accurate. In fact, who needs food in the state of New Mexico are our neighbors.
And the people who seek food, are they somewhat embarrassed that they have to come and seek food from you guys? Or?
You can tell that you and I have talked before. I refer to hunger as a silent epidemic because when people are living in poverty, we often know that. We can tell by looking at the cars, the clothes, the housing, but you can't tell when someone is hungry. And in our society, to not be able to feed your family is almost the bottom of the bottom. So there is shame attached. It is hard. Sometimes people will say to me, well, don't you worry about people going to food pantries or to soup kitchens and they don't really need to. That may happen a very small percentage of the time. Most people are there because they have to be. They would much rather be in the grocery store than standing in the line at the food pantry.
How do you overcome that shame, do you think?
I have a lot of residents, because they're in HUD housing, they've told me in the past, I can't believe I'm here. This is where I've ended up. And I try to reverse it and make it a positive and tell them, look what a beautiful place this is that you have. You pay your rent. No, it may not be a full amount, but you pay your rent just like everyone else does, a certain portion of your salary. And for that, you have to be proud that, yes, you do have some help, but you have a nice place to live. You're in a good place. Not to look at it as a negative point, but bring out the positives to it. For me, what started my relationship with Roadrunner Food Bank is I had a resident come to me. We were getting boxes every month, and during the transition, those boxes stopped for a couple of months, so my residents didn't get any food. A man came to me and he said, with what I get in food stamps, I'm eating a canned good every night for dinner. No meat, nothing else but just one canned good. It may have been green beans one night, carrots the next. So for me, I went to our manager at the time and I said, we have to do something about this. And Roadrunner was just taking over. They were having their informational meetings, signing up their partners, and that's how we came to the relationship that we have with Roadrunner right now.
Have you seen a change in the way people are giving nowadays since the economy has gone bad?
Well, it's an amazing thing. Roadrunner's large percentage of income does come from private giving, from private philanthropy. And people are struggling, but they're still giving. Some people can't give it all anymore. Some people are able to give a little bit more. But yeah, it's been hard, but people are still giving. I would like to go back and just talk a little bit about the how do we change so that it's not such a hard thing for people to ask for help. One of the things that Roadrunner does is we work with our partner agencies and ask them to ensure that each person that comes to them leaves feeling whole. and with integrity. And Bert is a great example of that. We want to make sure that people don't feel badly about having to ask for help, that they're treated well, whether they're going to a soup kitchen or a pantry or wherever they're going to ask for help. Make sure that we never lose sight of the fact that this is an individual who really doesn't want to be here. The circumstances have put them here, and we treat them with respect. And we hear that over and over and over again from people in the community, that they feel treated with respect at the agencies they go to. So that's one of the ways we overcome it. I just wanted to make sure I said that.
And you mentioned that there's seniors, there's young children, but there's also families that do come and use your services.
Or they go to our partner agencies, yes. And then there's also people who are living in what we call food deserts, areas where it's very difficult to access fresh, healthy, affordable food. So we have programs that we have in place to reach out to those people too.
Is there a place where people can look for your services or your organizations?
If you go to our website, which is www.rrfb.org, right on the website it will say, "Are you looking for help?" And if you type in your zip code, it will list all of the agencies that are in close proximity to you, and the phone numbers and how to find them and all of that information. Or they can call us and we'll give them directions also.
And another thing people can find on your website is a program that you guys have been doing in the month of December.
That's
Can you talk a little bit about that?
That's the Stockard Foundation gift matching project. For every dollar we receive, they will match it dollar for dollar. And that's huge for us. And that's huge for people who are considering making donations. For us, $50, a $50 donation will become 280 pounds of food. 280 pounds of food is a lot of food. A $25 donation right now with the Stockard matching funding is $50, which is 280 pounds of food. So when people say to me, I can't really give very much, right now, every gift becomes very much. And it's only good until the end of December. So we're urging people, if they were thinking about doing it, to sit down and do it soon.
And then you mentioned earlier when we talked off camera that people come to you and say, oh, I can't give, but then you have a display at your location that gives them an idea of where the money is going and how it can support people in the community.
And you saw it. It's two big tables. I think they're about 6 foot long, and there's a lot of food that we can get. And a lot of items that we give or that we distribute in the community are at absolutely no cost to our partner agencies. All produce is absolutely at no cost to our agencies. Baked goods and bread, things like that, go right to them at no cost. Other items, there's a small shared fee, but it really is a very minimal cost.
And then tell us a little bit about the process of when people come and give to you, to the Roadrunner.
In terms of financial or?
Financial, food, because you work with other corporations that provide food for you.
Well, Sam's and Walmart is the big one here in southern New Mexico, and yes, they are very, very generous in donating to us. I think it's 3 times a week we go and we pick up food from them that's then put out for distribution to organizations like Bert's. We have a community market with all kinds of items. Most of them are in packages that are slightly dented or crumpled, so cosmetically they're impaired, but the food integrity is still good, and we can distribute those on a daily basis. And so when people like Bert come to pick up the order that they've put in, they can also stop at the community store and find something really unique and special that they know their clients will really enjoy. And what is it you get every week, Bert?
Well, the bottled water is also free, in addition to the produce and the vegetables, fruits. The thing that I like about the market is that we provide a nutritional supplement to our residents, some things that they wouldn't normally get. Like last week we passed out oranges and potatoes, but I have passed out everything from grapes, watermelons. We go door to door with gallons of milk and eggs, bread, things that sometimes are expensive. One month I was able to give fresh avocados, diced tomatoes so they could make guacamole, different things like that. Tortillas, things that when you are on a very, very tight budget, those are luxuries. Sometimes a gallon of milk at $3.99 a gallon is not on the list when you go to buy groceries. We're lucky that the things that we do purchase from the food bank, it's at 19 cents a pound. So all the commodities that we get, all the free items, very few things that we have to purchase to supplement, but when we do, it's at 19 cents a pound. The residents of St. Genevieve's Village, they save their aluminum. And so they ask their families, their friends, themselves, and the money from that aluminum goes into our budget to purchase things from the food bank.
How difficult is it for your clients who live on a fixed income to, provide food on the table?
Sometimes the food is very scarce. Nancy and I had the privilege of meeting with a congressman within the last, I guess, the month or so. And I explained to him, when he asked if we had any questions, I told him that back in the summer, the commodities program, I used to go and order and I would pick up a full truckload. It would be over 1,000 pounds. That week that he was here, I picked up 4 cases of green beans. That was all the commodity food that I could get for my residents. Luckily, I have a little bit of a storage and I can keep things going, because as I could order more, I did. And so sometimes it's very hard as the pantry keeper to get the products, but you have to, when they're in, you have to order as much as you can and save for the next month. As far as my residents, I feel that they really benefit from our relationship with Roadrunner Food Bank. I think they receive a lot of things that otherwise they would not have been able to either purchase or have given to them from their families, because their money is tight everywhere, So we really have a good relationship, and the residents really benefit from that relationship with Roadrunner.
And you've been able to use it also for community building. What I was trying to hint was he picks up a cake. We do have cakes that are made available. And Bert was telling me one time that he brings the cake and they come over to the main office and they have coffee and cake together. So it builds community also.
With seniors, socialization is very important. We find that a year ago the residents were inbound, or they stayed in and they didn't come out. They didn't know their other neighbors or anything. But through Roadrunner, I can pick up the birthday cakes every month and we can have a celebration. They want to have coffee every other week. I can buy the coffee, the big cans, for 19 cents a pound. I can get them pastries to where they can sit and they can visit and have pastries with each other and coffee. And so the socialization has really improved, at St. Genevieve's Village. And again, thanks to Roadrunner Food Bank.
And that's so important, I think, for seniors. Is there, in terms of the food groups, who picks what item and the amount of items someone should have?
The residents, what we do is we have shelves all around, and each product is on the shelf, and if they want to select that, there's a number that they can have. So it eliminates waste, number one. If someone doesn't like green beans, then they don't take them. But they can't double up on the corn, because then that takes away from someone else. So they can walk away with as much or as little with each allotment that they have. But with a client choice pantry, the beauty of that is they choose the products they want. They don't have to take the things they don't like. A lot of the products through Roadrunner Food Bank are low salt, low sugar, and there's a lot of fruit products, a lot of nutritional value.
And so, in terms of your organization and how you distribute it to the different agencies, what's the procedure like?
Well, it's all online, as is everything nowadays. So once an agency has become a partner agency, and there is a process that they have to go through, they've got to be able to show that they can store food safely and that they can do the paperwork, and that they're going to be distributing truly to people who are in need. Once they become a partner agency, then they're given access to this computer, to the program, to set up with us, to link with Roadrunner Food Bank. And they just go in and order. They can order up to 3 times a week. They can order once a week, whatever their needs are. And it's all there. It's just like a grocery list, and they check off what they want. And as soon as they've indicated they want that, then it's removed from the inventory. They select a time to come and pick it up. If they're a local agency, and remember I said there's 50 partner agencies in our 4-county area, if it's a local agency, they come to pick up. If it's an agency outside of Las Cruces, we will deliver to them. So how often they receive food is a little bit to do with whether or not they're local or out in Deming or Silver City, because we only go there once a week. But that's how it works, and they're billed, and then they make their payments, and onward we go. So we try to make it as easy for our partner agencies as possible. I'm really right now this year, one of my goals is going to be to encourage more organizations that are 501c 501c3s or churches, especially in very rural communities, to consider being a partner agency, because that puts food in those communities for people who really need it.
How much do you depend on volunteers to help you through this process?
In the Albuquerque office, they have a wonderful volunteer program. They use volunteers a lot, hundreds and hundreds of them. Right now in Las Cruces, we have not got a large volunteer program in place yet. That's something I'm looking at doing in the new year. We're pretty committed to we want the volunteer experience to be positive so that people want to come back again and again. And a big part of what we need people to do is sort cans. And people are willing to do that once in a while, but if that's all they ever do, it doesn't really engage them with what it is we're doing. So we've got a couple of projects in mind for the new year that would bring volunteers in on a fairly regular basis, where they know at the end of the day the project they've been involved with is going to make an immediate difference. So it's not happening yet, but it will be in the new year.
And there are times where people come to you directly and give you donations, right?
There are, yeah. Friday, at this time we're not open on Fridays. That will change the beginning of the year. We'll be open 5 days a week. And there was a lady standing at the door with a couple of bags, and I said, oh my goodness, and let her in. So we weigh them out right away, and then I let her know how much that donation was and send them a little letter so they've got that. People come by and make donations. Came into work today and there was a lady standing in the lobby who was writing out a check for donation, especially now during the month of December because of the Stockard Foundation match. She said, I've got to get this in now because it really makes a big difference.
And if they aren't able to give to your organization this month because they're either going on vacation or they're doing something else, is there another way that they can continue giving?
Absolutely. We receive gifts very gratefully all year round. The best way to do it is to get on the internet and go to our website, and it's very easy. You just go right to the Las Cruces site and you can give there. We do ask people to make it to gear it towards Las Cruces because we know people feel very strongly about wanting their gifts to stay in this area, so that again they know that it's going to their neighbors, to people in their community. They can call us and we'll give them an address and they can mail it right in. So ongoing giving is how we stay in business.
And a lot of people may not know this, but there's about 40,000 people who seek service every single week, correct?
That's right. In the state of New Mexico, 40,000 people. That is as many people as live in the city of Farmington.
And that number is only going higher? Or?
It's going, yes it is. It definitely is, yeah.
And Bert, in terms of your organization, when your clients are on a fixed income, do you help them at all with budgeting and how to run their finances?
Well, as a service coordinator, they come into my office and I pretty much help them with their benefits. If they have a problem with their cable. I have some people that come in and they get high bills, and we go and we kind of research what's going on there and explain to them, talk to the utility companies directly, Social Security, anything like that. If it's needed, I'll talk to them and make referrals, to the residents for that. One thing I wanted to add, we were talking about numbers earlier, but last year at this time, we have 42 apartments, and I think it was 32 or 33 families or residents were involved in a commodities program, and we've jumped to 41. So we've gone from 33 out of 42 to 41 out of 42. That kind of tells you where the need is just in this small village, And as Nancy said, the face of poverty, you can see that. But when people are hungry, they're not necessarily going to voice that to you. Only the numbers show, where that is.
Is there a fear that perhaps one day you won't have enough food to service an entire community?
We've had some challenges. This last summer was a real challenge for us because donations were down. They always go down in the summertime. People aren't thinking about giving, so I'm already thinking what we can do next summer to change that. And the need goes up because children are out of school. So children who were getting breakfast and lunch at school aren't during the summertime. So we see the decrease and an increase. And we were really stressed over the summer with what were we going to do, because the cupboards weren't bare, but they weren't as plentiful as we would have liked. What we decided to do was to cut back just a little bit, like on our mobile food pantry, where we normally would distribute 50 pounds of food to each family. We cut it back to 35. We only had to do that for 1 month, thank goodness. It was just a 1 month thing. But what that meant was everybody still got some. There weren't people that suddenly weren't getting anything. We just couldn't stand to do that. So we said, okay, everybody has to bite the bullet a little bit, but we will continue to give to everyone who's already receiving. So we didn't cut any programs, we just cut back a little bit. But we only had to do it for a month, and then we pulled back out of that.
If there's someone out there watching and are thinking about, how do I qualify or do I qualify, what's the process? What do they need to do?
To qualify for?
For getting food, maybe going to their local organization and signing up to get free meals?
Well, I can't answer that directly for you because each one of our 50 partner agencies does different programs, and one of the things that Roadrunner believes very strongly is we don't tell our agencies how to do their business. They know what they're going to do. And so for many of them, it's a different process. For El Caldito Soup Kitchen, for example, people just show up for lunch every day, any day they show up for lunch. Other organizations are going to require that you have proof of residence or proof of income. Some other organizations will say, well, we don't ask for any of that, but we're only open on Mondays. So each organization has different requirements, and that's up to the organization.
Gotcha.
With St. Genevieve's Village, we have a qualification process. There's one of 3 things that you have to meet, and it's through the federal government with the commodities program. If the household is on food stamps, they're automatically qualified. You don't even have to look at their income or anything. If the household gets WIC, women, infants, and children, which a lot of our seniors, well, they don't qualify for that, they don't have that, but that's another one you're automatically qualified. And then the 3rd step is by your income, and they have certain guidelines for how many number there are in the household. Most of my residents are already on food stamps, so we don't even go any farther than that. They're automatically qualified.
All right, Bert, Nancy, thank you so much for joining us. You guys do important work.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. Remember, you can see this entire interview online at krwg.org. While you're there, you can visit our blog, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. I'm Carlos Correa. Until next time.